The judge who sentenced me to serve 32 years in prison when I was 18 years old still lives in the same town where I came home to. And after 19 of those years, the governor granted me a conditional pardon and commuted the rest of my sentence, basically saying that that judge was wrong, that my sentence was excessive, and that there were extraordinary circumstances involved. And I've often wondered what that judge would think or what he would say to me after all these years. Now, that judge has had his own trouble. He was actually removed from the bench by a Judicial Inquiry Review Board complaint, which was then overturned by the Supreme Court. But originally, both the Public Defender's Office and the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, what we call the prosecutors, filed a complaint together saying that his behavior was unacceptable. The Judicial Inquiry Review Board originally found that to be true. The Supreme Court overturned that. Now, the really interesting part is I've talked to both prosecutors and defense attorneys here in the area, and they said that once he was put back on the bench as a substitute and he's basically stayed there for all these years, he actually ended up being one of the most reasonable, one of the most balanced judges out there. So what happened is essentially what is supposed to happen with our criminal legal system. He was brought up on charges, he originally lost his seat, he basically got it back in a different status, and he's changed. He's making the best of his second chance. And people have often asked me what I thought or if I was angry or what was going on, especially since I had a bunch of family and friends who were angry when I was originally sentenced, because the sentencing guidelines had only called for 8 to 13 years and then 10 to 16 years once they were modified, and I was sentenced to 32 years. But what I say is a judge is in an impossible position. We don't have parole in Virginia. So in an hour or in half an hour, he's supposed to look at me and weigh and measure me and figure out all the things about me, figure out when I'll be safe to be released into the community. It's an impossible job. He has to be a fortune teller. And I actually think there's something very fitting or poetic about the fact that he's living his own best second chance. And he's making the best of his second act as he's learned from his mistakes and he's doing better.